Morning, John.
Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, Ashes Rubies family.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining our live stream, or if you watch this after, it would just be a stream. And listening to our podcast on wherever podcasts get podcasted. Thank you for joining us on a Monday morning. It is a dreary Monday morning. The warmth is coming. The warmth is upon us. The season is changing. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, I hope wherever you are, whenever you're listening, that you can look outside and just enjoy nature, regardless of whatever the weather's like. There's something to appreciate about nature, regardless.
Yes.
Even dreary is okay. This morning stunk outside.
I know you looked outside
and I was
and
like,
you saw the backyard.
It's so gross.
We have a little dog.
It's so gross. But then I was like, and spring is coming.
And you made it. You picked it all up. You picked up poo today.
Yes.
Man, such a servant today.
I've already done all the hardest parts of today. So last night, the last thing I did before I went to bed was I said, God, please help me wake up in the morning. I really want to wake up and enjoy my day. And then this morning I woke up.
You did a workout.
And the first thing I said when I woke up was, God, I'm so thankful to be awake. And then I got up. I never do that. I lay in my bed in misery for a pretty long time.
You're so healthy. How
do you wake up? Do you wake up well? Do you wake up slow? Do you wake up feeling sorry for yourself like me?
Ooh.
How do you wake up?
I think, yeah, I try to wake up pleasant. Most times I wake up pleasant. Although lately I've been going through a little bit of a slumber. I don't know. It must be everything, all the excitement of the new space catching up and the extra work. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try to fight it. I'm just changing gears a little bit. I think it's okay to change gears.
I really love the saying, you win tomorrow, tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
And that really helped me. I win great. Tomorrow, tonight.
What's your favorite season?
Spring has typically been my favorite season, but currently I love all the seasons except winter.
You love them all.
Except winter.
Really. I like winter for the sake of, I feel like we're in survival mode. There's kind of like an adventure to it. There's like a hibernation. Yeah. Yeah, it's not my favorite.
It's not where
Fall is my favorite.
It's not where I thrive.
Spring, I don't like spring just because there's drastic changes that are happening. I guess that's same as fall. But there's the ground is squishy. There's mud everywhere. There's dog poo everywhere. Like, it's just like it smells bad.
Like, I know, fall. But it's bringing summer.
So you like life and I like death, because fall is like death. Leaves are falling off the tree.
Good morning, Megan.
Good morning, Megan.
What season do you like best? That's what we're talking about right now.
And it's funny how we don't like summer.
I like summer. No, I love summer.
You do.
But I've also implemented like beach days and
kayaking. This is the first time you've ever had outdoor activities for summer, because you're not really a summer person. You have sun adhesions. Adhesions?
I had sun sensitivity.
Extreme
sun sensitivity.
Yeah. So summer was never fun for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
So we're going to do a reading. We're going to do a morning meditation.
Yeah. Take this idea and we're going to take it as well throughout the day. We're going to contemplate about it. We're going to talk about it now. And then it's a gift for you today. So here we are, March the 7th, marching on into March. All right, here we go. Many longtime Al-Anon members, or any 12-step member, many longtime 12-step members or LifeLab members have observed that the newcomer who has what a famous theologian calls the gift of faith. Do you have the gift of faith?
I do.
I guess we'll talk about it. Is apt to grasp the 12-step program much more readily than those who try with grim determination to make it on their own. Faith in a power greater than we are helps us to use the 12-step ideas with more confidence and result. For those of us who have lost our faith or who have always had a struggle along without it, it is often helpful just to accept blindly and with no reservations. We need not believe at first. We need not to be convinced. If we can only accept, we find ourselves becoming gradually aware of a force of good that is always there to help us. Today's reminder: the very act of surrender to a God who is wiser and more powerful than we are can help to bring order into our lives. It serves as a steadying influence and constant guide to right decisions. Quote of the day from Romans: For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
So basically, what it's saying is you don't have to believe right now. You don't have to be convinced right now. It's helpful if you can just accept, and then we find ourselves becoming gradually aware of a force for good that is always there to help us.
And so the one issue with the 12 steps, it's not designed to make it on your own. It's designed to actually move you from a space of being and playing God. And I think that we have to determine that God is a concept, not a name. So God is the ruler, the reigner, the governance. I get to set the stage, the rules, the script. I get to change my moral theology. I get to change my moral code. I can have one or not have one. And so essentially I'm playing God. So the 12 steps was designed to take somebody into a relationship with God. And so they give us some outlines of what
God as a concept.
God, yeah. And so then they give us some outlines of what God is. God is love. God is all powerful. God is the center of the universe, the spirit of the universe. God is a father. God is as a director. God as the principal, and we're the agent. So they give these concepts of walking into a relationship where I'm not in charge. And so I think there's a lot of fear in that, of like, people don't I didn't respect authority. I had a fear of authority. I had a fear of being punished. I had all these preconceptions of coming into a program that really demanded faith. Like at the end of it, it's a program to lead somebody into a relationship with God. And they even say, they in the big book, it says we've not only written a spiritual book but a moral book as well. So as I come into the rule and reign and the governance of the kingdom of heaven, there's going to be a shift in my heart. There's going to be new principles. But the beautiful thing about that, God's going to change my heart. He's not going to change what I do. He's going to change what I want to do. I think that's a beautiful, loving relationship where my way wasn't working at all. And I might have been somebody that, I think both of us had a belief in God at some level. But I always thought it was rules and regulations and a moral code. But the reality is, it's a God that wants a relationship with me. And so the 12 steps just guides us into that and unblocks us, because there's blocks that we've made due to the consequences of the 30 years of our lives or whatever it is.
Yeah, and the big book reminds us of or warns us of a concept of contempt prior to investigation, and encourages us to be willing to investigate.
Many people struggle with the 12 steps, and that's really why we wanted to create LifeLab, and not for the struggle, but for people that might not adhere to being alcoholic or Al-Anon. So the LifeLab is really essentially a 12-step process where we get into why are we blocked from God. And so we go through these inventories that are really rooted in fear, and we get to see where our fear is and bring that to God, because we can't wish away fear. We can't blow it away. We can't, like, if we could have already done that, we would have done it. So the process of recovery is recovering that contact with God. Right. So the opposite of addiction is connection. And so we connect with each other. We connect with God. I have to connect with God before I can connect with you. The gift of faith. Yeah, I think that faith goes into trust. I think we start at having a belief that works our way into the faith, that works our way into trust, because I think the action of faith is trust.
I think the action of faith at the beginning for me was just saying like, I suck at running my life and I need help. And I don't know what that's going to look like because I don't understand, but I just need help.
Mm-hmm. And then the process, because we can be like, well, I don't understand God. I don't feel God. Well, in my experience is that we're blocked off from God. He's always there, just like water for a fish.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't recognize it and I don't go through this process of inventory to get the fear out, because we're God's perfect love, there is no fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I don't have God's perfect love in me, it would be safe to suggest that I have fear that is blocking that. So now I get to, through the process of recovery, through the mirror that has been designed that way, is to really look at the fear, and then I can acknowledge it and bring it to God.
Yeah. And you might be someone who has a lot of experience or has a lot of knowledge about God or knows a lot of things. But yet when we look at our lives, sometimes you can look at your life and, this thing is really hard, or this isn't working out, or I'm having trouble in this relationship. I'm having trouble over here. My finances are in a mess. That is evidence to show me that actually I'm not trusting God,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm not actually putting that knowledge into practice. And that was a hard place for me to come to, was to realize like, oh, I think I have a relationship with God,
Mm-hmm.
but actually the evidence of my life shows that I don't.
Yeah.
Even for me, anxiety and worry and like not being able to sleep properly, those were rooted in, oh, I didn't have the relationship with God that I thought I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's
Mm-hmm.
a hard place to get to. It's a hard realization to come to. But that's really an act of surrender. And that's an act of, when I can admit that, then I can invite God to do something different in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say, okay, I want a different relationship. I want you to have control. Not control, because God doesn't work out of control, but I want you, God, to be impacting my life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you actually have power. How do I access that power?
Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we can get stuck at the behavioral of looking at all these things, looking at my sin and going like, that just separates me from God. Like, Jesus already made a way for that. Like, punishment has already been paid. So then what's below the activity of behavior? And it's always rooted in fear. I'm being driven by fear, the slave driver of fear, not guided by God's perfect love. So the only option that I have is to really identify those fears and bring them to the altar. And so we do that through the process. And then I can grow my faith. Oh, beautiful stuff. All right.
Thanks for letting us process that with you. I hope that gives you something to think about through your day and something to meditate on. And you can ask God questions.
Yeah, feel free to join us on Wednesday. Every Wednesday at noon on Zoom, we have a recovery meeting where we discuss more ideas. So have a great day. Keep the peace. Be of good behavior. And do we even have to wash our hands anymore?
You always were supposed to wash your hands.
We got to wash our hands.
You were
Bye,
always
Megan.
supposed to be washing your hands.
Okay. I'll continue to do that.
Thank you.